Hello and welcome to Tarot Arts Anjali. So, do you want to know what the next 3 months in your career might look like? You have three piles in front of you, three cards. You can choose any one of them, and I'll show you each one of them one by one. For pile number one, we have the Shadow card. For pile number two, we have this Bardo card. And for pile number three, we have this Mystic card. So just take a moment, pause if you have to, and see which of these cards do you feel drawn to the most. And you can go to the timestamp in the description below, and I'll see you in your reading about what these next 3 months in your career are going to look like. Hello, pile number one. So, if you chose this shadow card, this is going to be your reading. We'll look at what guidance, what advice do we have for the next 3 months in your career. It could be your professional life, your job opportunities, or if there's any question that you're asking. And remember that these are just the readings for the collective. And if you want to know more about the personal readings that I'm offering, you can check in the description box below. There's all the details about how you can get a personal reading with me. So, spirit guides, angels, what do we have for pile number one and the next 3 months in their career? This card actually came out quite quickly, so right off the bat, I can see pile number one, you have so much abundant energies in the next 3 months. So make sure to stay tuned till the end of the pile to get to hear all the messages that we have for you. Messages for pile number one. Okay, pile number one. So in your tarot cards, the first immediate card that fell off was the Ten of Pentacles. And this is telling me that the next 3 months you'll have a lot of abundance. I see a wish fulfillment happening. So, whether it's a job opportunity you're asking about, maybe a promotion, or it could be you've applied for something and you're waiting to hear back for them, whether it's maybe an appointment letter, or maybe you've applied for something and you're seeking scholarship or something of that sort. So this is a very positive card of financial sort of just outpouring of blessings in your life. So I see a very good sign of this abundance coming your way. But we look at the rest of the energies too. But I definitely see with you, pile number one, that the question here isn't really about financial wealth or success, because that's something that I see as definitely guaranteed for you. Rather, I see that your career journey is bringing out, and because you chose the shadow aspect, the shadow card, which I'll come to, so make sure that you stay till the end of the pile, because here I see that a major theme is dealing with your shadow aspect when it comes to your career. So, this involves figuring out what is it that's not working out, what is it that needs a bit of change, or maybe for some of you, this devil card here, it shows me that maybe you've been having an unhealthy relationship with your work life. So whether you're a student, whether you're a working professional, or whether you're someone still looking for opportunities, I see some sort of an unhealthy pattern, because the devil here, it always shows us certain attachments which aren't working out for us, or some unhealthy relationships. So I can see that maybe for some of you, work life balance has been a bit off, and that's the shadow aspect that you will be addressing in the next 3 months. So you will be looking at aspects of how you can manage your work responsibilities, while at the same time you're looking at your personal self-care. So make sure that work life balance is something that you pay attention to in the coming next 3 months. And remember, this is a timeless reading, so it applies from whenever you're watching this. And here I also see the King of Swords. So this card here tells me that for some of you, there is a need to, like, you're getting all the returns, you're getting the money, you're getting positive results, but the planning, this logical aspect that I need on your part is planning about what steps to take next, where to head to moving forward, and also this aspect of balance that I'm seeing. So even in the shadow card here, we see this light and darkness sort of coexisting together. And how can we find this? Almost see this as a Venn diagram, that there's two aspects that are intersecting in the center. So for you, maybe a challenge in your career journey for the next 3 months is achieving this balance, this intersection of where you can function at your best in your personal life as well as your work life, and letting go of any unhealthy patterns, attachments with work that need to be let go of. And I'm also seeing that for some of you, your environment is like people around you are being affected by your personal career journey. So, one thing that I mentioned, if you are someone who has a family, and one of the areas that your work is affecting is your relationship with your family, or as I said, with work life balance, maybe you aren't able to give that much attention to your relationships, to your connections. So one lesson for you, one reflection for you in the months coming for you is, how can you be fully present in both your career as well as the people that are close to you. So this card almost here tells me that yes, this person is definitely coming across as victorious. This person has two swords and one sword here, but the other people are feeling defeated. So what I can see here is maybe the way that you've been so focused on your career and whatever decisions have to be made, whether that's something like if you're a student, then maybe you've fully been investing in just your academic life, and maybe your relationship with your parents, your family, that has been affected. Or if you're a working professional, then this card here could mean that you're not able to, maybe you're working extra hours, or maybe there this I see almost, with this card I see a boundary, but that's very porous boundary, which means that there's not a fixed boundary between your work life and your personal life. So you're allowing your responsibilities from the work life to also seep into your personal life. And remember, this is a general reading, so take the messages that resonate. And again, if you want a personal reading, you can check all the details in the description box below. So, at least for the collective, I see a couple of major lessons that yes, financial abundance is there for you. That's an area where you will grow a lot. You also, I see this deep intellectual energy that you possess, pile number one, but I'm also seeing some unhealthy patterns with your work that needs to be addressed. You need to honor the people in your life, the relationships in your life, and these boundaries, which are at the moment a little less structured, are not allowing you to distance between your work life and your personal life. And that's, you see this expression on the face. This person seems wounded, seems scared, seems defensive. So when we don't have these clear boundaries, we let these work responsibilities seep into our daily lives, and we're not able to overcome those. So in the next 3 months, this shadow card is going to be a very major theme in terms of how you work forward, work through these challenges in your career. And here we also have the number 28, which in numerology it comes down to like 2 and 8, so it becomes 10. And 10 is, and it's pretty interesting that your reading is starting at a 10, and it's end like your tarot reading is ending on a 9, and then we have these numbers here adding up to 10. So it's telling me that on some level there's a sense of completion when it comes to maybe success, when it comes to having your ideal job, ideal situation, something like that. I see that there's no blockages in that manifestation, like your desired work outcomes, your desired career outcomes, academic outcomes are yours, definitely. The only thing which is at 9, which is yet to reach its completion, is that this element of working on your shadow aspect, the shadow self. And we'll quickly pull out a couple more guidance from this Swiss Tarot deck to look at how exactly can you, pile number one, deal with this unhealthy pattern, work on this work-life balance aspect, and what exactly is this shadow aspect or shadow element. So any guidance for pile number one, Spirit, please? Messages and clarification. What is this shadow aspect? What does pile one need to address at the moment for the next 3 months in career? Next 3 months in career. All right, pile number one. So I can definitely see with all these cups cards coming here. So we have two cups here, and that tells me that the next 3 months, a major aspect of your career life that you're going to be focusing on is, see, as I mentioned, the Ten of Pentacles tells me that the financial bit of it, the practical aspects of the job, that's all in place. That manifestation is yours, the desired outcomes are yours. The only thing to work upon is this cups element, which is your emotional fulfillment, the relationships in your life, matters of the heart, and things like that. So the Ten of Cups, and again, as I was saying, it's so interesting because we had the Ten of Pentacles here, the wands is almost at the 10, and with the cups we have a 10 again. So this is telling me that the shadow aspect you need to address is your emotional healing, is your relationships at the moment, because I'm seeing that even though this is a career reading, sometimes our desired outcomes, or we feel that something's lacking in the aspect of our careers, when the actual thing to be addressed is our own emotional healing, our journey, our relationships. So here I'm seeing that this element of looking after your personal self-care, your emotions, that's going to be a huge element in the months coming forward. And I'm also seeing that for some of you, maybe this unhealthy attachment could be with your current job. So your current job is giving you all the financial output, but your relationships are being affected, your emotional health is being affected. So there I'm seeing a major priority to be placed on your emotional health and well-being. And for some of you, there might actually be an indication that you're looking for a career change, like in the present career. If some of you are who've chosen this pile one, you've been in your career for a while and you feel satisfied with what you've achieved so far, then this could be an indication that it's time to move on to something else, maybe move on to something that will emotionally fully fulfill you. And here we also have the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles, this card here is a sign of being a little worried about your finances or about your financial stability and security. And one thing that I was saying earlier with these unhealthy patterns, so maybe one unhealthy pattern for you to work on, pile number one, is how has your personal relationship been with money so far? Is it an unhealthy sort of attachment where even if you do have a certain amount of wealth, if you do have a certain um you are fulfilled to certain extent, but on some level there's still that need or want to have more and more and more, like even if you've reached a certain level of success, a certain level of abundance, there's still a need to want more. So is that an aspect that you need to address? So that could be something, because the Seven of Pentacles is all about mm, this person. If you look at the traditional rider waite imagery, a person who's looking at his wealth that has been accumulated so far, and then thinking what to do next, where to step next. So I feel that some of you, pile number one, you are at this stage where you've done all that you can in your career aspect. You've reached a stage of at least some form of abundance, stability, independence for you. But the question you're asking about is what next, or where to move from here. So make sure that you're also giving some time and attention to where is this that you could pour in your resources, your time and energy into. And that is being answered by the Six of Cups. So here's a couple of messages. Again, this is a reading for the collective, so take the messages that resonate. But with the Six of Cups, I'm seeing for some of you, there's an indication that a probable job change is around the corner, and some of you might be stepping into a profession that either connects with something creative, something to do with your artistic talents. For some of you, this could be about moving into a career that has something to do with either healing or teaching in any capacity. But in any of these options, I see that you might be working with other people. You might be working in terms of either the creative aspect of it, or for um, working on healing other people, working on bettering other people's lives. And here, for some of you, I also see that there has been a childhood passion, or maybe a talent, a hobby, or maybe just a dream that you had as a kid about what you wanted to be when you grew up. And again, with this, there's obviously an element of that childish dreams, that some of that which might be impractical, but at the bottom of it, at the root of it, there's a deeper purpose. There's something that you've been wanting to do for a while, or a certain direction that you wanted your life to go into. But because so far your energies were poured into finding this stability for yourself, maybe you weren't able to invest in this element that fulfill this inner child wish within you, or fulfill this creative talent or ability or dreams within you. So maybe this devil might be here to tell you that right now is a time to reflect on whether this current chapter of your career is over, and whether there's a need to move into something new. And for those of you who are still students in this pile, I feel that this could be talking about um, a bit of re-evaluation of where you are currently, and is this actual path aligning you with where you want to be. So the next 3 months overall, I see a lot of this shadow work happening. So a lot of reflection about not just the career or the specific job that you are engaged with at the moment, or the specific course or whatever it might be for you, but much deeper questions, much deeper reflections about where is it that you're headed, where do you see yourself moving. And with that, I'll pull out a final angel card for you. And with this, we look at what other messages do angel spirit guides have for you. And this card will also give you an affirmation that you can use in your life, in your career manifestations. So, okay, this actually connects with what I was just talking about. So, this is the imagination card. If you want, you can pause, take a screenshot if you want to. And this card here, imagination. So, this tells me that for some of you, there's a very clear indication that your path forward 3 months and maybe even beyond that is going to be very much connected to um, your creative abilities, your creative talents. Maybe the current position or the path that you're following is very good for financial abundance, but maybe it might not be fully nurturing you. So, how can you invite creativity into your career field? Maybe it could be connecting with this dream that you had as a kid, or maybe there's a very creative idea that you've imagined, or a project that you have in mind, or some idea or some venture that you have in mind about your career, but you haven't been able to step into it fully. So, this imagination card invites you to enter that creative sphere. For those of you who are actually in a creative field, or you're asking about stepping into something creative, this is a very clear sign that yes, this path is for you. And again, remember, creativity doesn't just have to be one thing. It's not just art or music or singing. It can also be, you can use creativity in your career in a lot of different ways. So make sure you take this message as it applies to your situation. And here, this card, um, since the card itself has the word architects and builders, so if that's your actual profession, or you've been wanting to step into that, or you've been wanting to bring creativity into your work as an architect, builder, or creator of some sort, then this again is a big confirmation for you that the path ahead will be, at least the next 3 months, will have a lot to do with nurturing this imaginative powers within you. And it says that if you have a vision, then the angels will open up doors to help you. So connect to angels, guides, universe, spirit, whatever it is that you believe in. And I see your ideas, which are just at the point of ideas, being sown, and they're sprouting into much more full-fledged um, paths for you to step into. And the affirmation here, the statement, if you want to repeat, is I picture positive outcomes for the highest good. So, pile number one, that's where I'm going to end your reading. And make sure to check out the description box below to see all the details about personal readings. And make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if this reading resonated. And I'll see you in the next reading. Bye bye. Hello, and welcome to your reading pile number two. If you chose this card, the Bardo, then this is your reading. We'll look at what the next 3 months in your career look like, what guidance is there for you, any messages that are going to help you in your career journey, whether that's an academic program, a course, or a new job that you're asking about, some changes. We look into all of these energies. And remember that this is a reading for the collective, so take only the messages that resonate. And if you want to book a personal reading, make sure to check out all the details in the description box below. So, pile number two, spirit, angels, the higher selves of pile number two. What guidance do we have? What does pile number two need to know about the career journey in the next 3 months? What will the next 3 months in career look like for pile number two? And remember, this is a timeless reading, so it'll be next 3 months from whenever you're watching this video. Next 3 months in career for pile number two, spirit guides and angels. What do we need to know? One final card, please, spirit. All right, pile number two. So, one thing that I see with just these initial cards, and make sure to stay till the end for the final card meaning. But with your tarot cards, I can see that you are a pile that's very ambitious, very driven. You have vision in mind, or you at least have some idea about what you want to achieve in your career journey, in your professional life, and you've been putting in efforts to go towards that. Or if even if you don't have something very concrete happening at the moment, one thing that I can see about your personality, pile number two, is you are someone who's very driven. And if you step into a role that truly deeply fulfills you, then you are someone who will put in all your efforts to achieve that goal of yours, to do your best, to perform your best. And on some level, I'm also seeing a very strong, again, this can be both good or bad in its own ways, but I'm seeing a perfectionist tendency. So for pile number two, I see that you are not someone who will do a job half-heartedly, or just do something half-heartedly and you leave it at that. I see pile number two that you, if you're given a task, you'll put in all your efforts to get your desired outcomes. And you have both the queen and the king coming here. So this tells me that, again, it doesn't have to be the actual gender that you identify as, but I definitely see both these, male, female, in terms of the energetic components of it. All these resources, these strengths are very strongly present in you. And for some of you, I'm seeing in this pile that you might be in a transitional space in your career, so you're moving from one thing to the next. So if you are a student and you're moving into maybe higher study of some sort, your bachelor's, master's, PhD, or you've just graduated and now you're moving into the working field. Or maybe you've been in a career for a while and you're moving into a different role, maybe a promotion, or some form of transition is taking place. Maybe you're even changing careers. So take the message as it resonates. Remember, it's just for the collective, but I see some form of transition happening. And because of that transition, because of these changes, either that has already happened for some of you, or maybe some of you are stepping into that change. And when a change like that happens, when we're moving away from our comfort zone into a unknown territory, into something that we haven't experienced before, there's definitely a sign of defensiveness that comes through, or being very careful, being cautious, and not taking too many actions too quickly because you're still testing out the waters. And that's what we see in this card. This person here has this wall of wands behind them, and they're looking at the situation, just evaluating, holding on to the wand, not really taking an action forward. And this is the nine card, and which tells me that this period of evaluation, of not taking a concrete action, has lasted for a while, but now it's definitely moving into a stronger energy of going full force ahead with this action that you have to take in your career journey. So for the next 3 months, I'm seeing that if for some of you, you have been in a bit of a stagnant energy, you, as I was mentioning earlier, you have this drive within you, you have this passion within you, you have this perfectionist tendency within you, but maybe for the past couple of months, the past year or so, whatever it applies for you, your ambition, your drive hasn't been channeled in the right direction. So in this transitionary space, the space of transition, you haven't been able to move forward in the direction you want, or you've been made to be a bit cautious, or you've been made to wait. But this 9 energy tells me that the 10, the completion of the cycle is almost near. And we, the next card that we have is the Queen of Wands. So definitely the next 3 months will have a lot of these changes taking place for you. You'll finally move from this space of transition into a very concrete role. So for some of you, your career might lead you to either move cities, move countries, move to a different place, or maybe within the same job itself, you're moving to another role, you're getting a promotion, you're getting a better pay. And for some of you, it might also mean that you're changing your career altogether. So, whatever this change that you're thinking of, the Queen of Wands tells me that you have all this fire, this passion, this energy within you to go through with this change. And this card is coming here to remind you that you already possess this power, this strength, this fiery energy within you. You just need to tap into it, and you will get your success moving forward. And I'll come to this with the High Priestess also, but just the black cat in this card and the High Priestess later on, it tells me that for some of you, pile number 2, there might be something to do with spirituality, energy work, healing in your career journey moving forward, because the black cat often is symbol for spirituality, or the way that I see it. And the High Priestess definitely is a card that talks about that. So that could be an additional sign for some of you, pile number 2. With the King of Swords, I see that. So here's a couple of messages. One could be that um, in your journey forward, like after this phase of transition, when you move into this new role, it will involve a lot of your intellectual power, your strength, your wisdom. And as I was saying earlier, that this I feel is a very ambitious pile. So I can see that you have a lot of goals, and you will be starting to take action on that. You'll be planning things out. For some of you, I also feel that it could be that this pile is someone who you really, you know someone might ask you that what's your 5-year plan, 10-year plan. You might already have thought of these things, or you might have very structured things about where you want your life to go, where you want to step into next. So I can definitely see this air energy, this element of planning, of just looking far out in the future, and uh, putting your logic and rationality maybe above emotions at some point. So you really like to plan things out, structure things out. And that's why a period where something concrete isn't happening, this element of you feels a little mm, disheartened or not in its element, because you like to plan well, but if things are uncertain, then you don't know where to channel that energy of planning. But I'm seeing that soon, when you step into this new position and this new change that happens in your life, you will be able to connect with this swords, the King of Swords element in you once again. And with this 8, I want to this sort of is one of my personal favorite cards when it comes to the Pentacled suit. And here we see someone who's really focused on their craft. The person is mastering their craft. They're really focused on the task at hand. And yes, their hard work, the what they've created is displayed, but the focus is just on still creating. So for some of you, I feel that at least for the next 3 months, even though I see a lot of abundance, I see a change happening, something new entering your life, but um I don't want you to have a very unrealistic expectation that things will turn around immediately, or right as you make a change you'll get instant success. And yes, definitely that is possible, things like that do happen, but at the same time, this earth element, this pentacles element here is to ground us a little bit, and to also remind us that success, growth, it takes its own time. So be a bit patient with it. Be focused on your craft, on the task that you're doing, whether you're studying something, applying for something, mastering a particular skill, doing courses, or whatever it might be in your individual career journey. So keep mastering that, and just detach a bit from what the result might be. So focusing on your work craft, that is the main message for the next 3 months. And finally, with the High Priestess here, so one thing that I can see that Maybe some of you have Cancer in your placements, whether that's your sun, moon, or rising, or it could just mean that the Cancer season of the year, so around June, July, like that period might be significant for you. So, based on whenever you're watching, if this period is beyond 3 months, then this could just be that, that time of the year is significant for you or will bring a lot of changes in your life. And this could also mean that for some of you, pile number two, you are. Um, in some way or the other, spirituality or just connecting with your this wisdom within you is something that you connect deeply with. Or if you are someone who might say that I'm very deeply connected to spirituality as a whole, then maybe it is time for you to step into that, step into the spiritual nature of yours. And as I see here, we in your initial few cards, we have all the suits present, the wands, swords, and pentacles, but the cup aspect is missing. So it tells me that your career journey so far, or at least for the next 3 months, it's going to be, you might find yourself investing too much in this change that's happening, taking actions, planning, building your financial growth and abundance. And the final card, the High Priestess, the only major arcana in this reading, is telling me that don't forget to also nurture your spirit, your the creative spark within you, this creativity within you, this spiritual side of yourself, this creative side of yourself. So I'm getting a very overall message of a balance that's needed in your career journey moving forward. So make sure that you are tapping into all of these elements. You're taking actions, you're planning, you're building your finances, and you're also nurturing your soul and spirit at the same time. And now we look into a couple more cards to just clarify what any other messages spirit might have about your career journey in the next 3 months based on whenever you're watching this. So, further clarifications and messages for pile number two, Spirit. Okay, so these are your cards, pile number two, and here I can see that the death card is coming here, which is your second major arcana in the reading. So the death coming here tells me that maybe on some level there is a need to let go of something. Now, for some of you, it could either be an unrealistic expectation that you have to let go of. As I was saying earlier, that if there's a change that's happening or a new role that you step into, success takes its own time. Things on the 3D, on this material world, they take their time to evolve, to grow, to give us the success that we're dreaming of. So don't lose hope if you don't get immediate success. Or for some of you, I can also see that there is this expectation, even though you're working on your craft, you're mastering your skills, but there is obviously this need within us to have our work recognized, appreciated. And if that's something that doesn't happen immediately for you or just within the initial few stages of the next 3 months, don't get disheartened. Don't get bothered by these expectations that might be holding you back. So one thing that I see, death, I don't see that as a very negative message or something very um like something to be scared of. Instead, I see this as something to let go of. And one thing that I mentioned could be this unrealistic expectation about wanting instantaneous success. And another thing could be that what we started off with this, and I actually want to talk about your card, the final card, the card that you chose here also. So this, the Bardo, in the archetype card, it talks about a liminal space or a transitional space. This is a place where we haven't yet reached the next stage or our truest potential, but we're almost there. So when there's this feeling of being almost where we want to be, there's a sense of discomfort that sets in. And like with here, even though right now, if you just shut it off here, if you only see it till eight of pentacles, it's like you're working on it and you're displaying your work, but there's nothing happening, you're just stuck, you're stagnant, you don't see a way forward and it gets stuck. But this is the tipping point. Like if you just hold on to this moment a little bit longer, you're stepping into this beautiful high priestess energy where things are taking a transformational turn, where things are really working around in your favor. You're getting so much luck, so much abundance, so much growth, so much wisdom about your own purpose. So just hold on for a bit longer. Don't give up at this transitional space. Don't give up at this moment right before reaching your true potential. Just so the overall message I'm getting is hold on just a little while longer. We're at the 9, we're almost reaching 10. There's this change that's just about to happen. So make sure that you are um any moment that comes up where you feel like giving up, or you start questioning whether, is this journey even it for me? So if those are the questions that come up for you, so remember to ask yourself that what is my deeper purpose, what is this that truly, like, why have I held on for so long, like why have I been on this path for a while long. So just remind yourself of what is it that keeps you going, connect with that, and I can guarantee you with all these cards that we have here that after this 3 months of a bit of transition, a bit of changes, a bit of navigating, trial and error, there is so much abundance at the end of it. And again, this 9 of wands, so this is the exact same card from two different decks. So the 9 of wands repeating here in the clarification, it tells me that definitely there's a sense of defensiveness, being a bit worried. Maybe that's why you even clicked on this reading. You want to know whether how long will this period last, and I can guarantee you that right after this period of a bit of challenges navigating these changes, there's so much wealth and abundance and growth on the other side, and coming tapping closer to your true purpose, your higher purpose. And your final card as the clarification is this 7 of pentacles, and this card, it actually also came up in the pile one. So if you were drawn to the shadow card as well, you might want to check pile one as well. But this 7 of pentacles, it tells me that definitely keep working on what you're doing, keep mastering your craft, as we saw with the 8 of pentacles. But with the 7 of pentacles, I also get this sense that um maybe at least for a while, focus more on, at least for the next 3 months, focus more on growing rather than spending. Because the 7 of pentacles, this comes here as a sign of having our wealth in front of us but not spending that immediately, or saving that for a while, or being a bit cautious about our financial decisions. So in the next 3 months, I'm seeing that the focus would be a lot more on pouring into your work, whether it's your time, energy, resources, whatever it is, and seeing it grow eventually, rather than spending into or investing into something entirely new. So if one of your questions with this 9 of wands cards, if it was that should I go ahead and invest into something new, or pour my energy or money entirely into, like, if the spending is has been a question or a doubt for you, then at least for a little while hold on to it, and instead see if you can pour that money, those resources, whatever it is, in growing and building your own skills, rather than using that on something else. So take this message as it resonates, but there is definitely a sense of, at least for the next 3 months, to hold on to it rather than spending it immediately. And finally, as a guidance, we'll also look into some of your angel cards. So any messages that angels might have for you for your career journey in the next 3 months, and how that might help you. So we have wisdom. You can take a moment and pause and take a screenshot if you want to. But with the wisdom card here, we have this sense of this what I was saying earlier, that pouring your resources and energy into growing your own skills, learning something, building your craft. So maybe if you've been questioning about should I spend this money on buying something new, spending on like whatever it has been, versus if there's an option to invest that into a course or a skill or something that can help you up level sort of. So here it's coming, the message here is to pour more into this aspect of learning. So that's what the wisdom card here tells. And then it's also about, what I was saying with the high priestess, that the only element missing thus far had has been the cups, and we don't have any cups in your card. So the high priestess sort of comes to remind us to, for pile number 2, to also connect to your soul, this creative power, this wisdom within you, this spirituality within you. And if you feel you are not connected to spirituality in any way, then maybe this might be the time for you to take the next 3 months to not just see your career journey as just on the surface or on a practical level, but also tapping into what's deeper within. What is this inner wisdom within that has been guiding you on this career journey thus far? And the with wisdom, the card here says that life takes on a new perspective. So I'm definitely seeing that there's after this liminal phase, this transitional space, you are entering some form of a shift, or like something is changing for you, something mysterious is happening here. And I actually want to also pull out the guidebook for the bardo card, because I wanted to see, because this word wisdom exactly is repeated here also, and it says that the bardo suspends us in its spaciousness for just long enough to open us to higher wisdom. So what I'm seeing is, when we are in this transitional space where it seems chaotic, it seems uncomfortable, our career hasn't reached its true potential yet, and in that liminal transitional space there is chaos, because something has to open, something has to give way for this wisdom to seep in. So maybe if for a while you've been feeling that this journey has been a bit monotonous, or you're feeling satisfied, but then at the same time there's something missing, or you're not able to see what's deeper, then if you chose this bardo card, then it's a very clear indication that what's happening right now, this space of change that's happening, this chaos and stuff like that, so that is present because it's creating space, it's giving way for you to tap into this wisdom of yours. And finally, this card is also about creating more space in general in your life when it comes to your career, like not being, as I was saying earlier in the beginning of this reading, I see you, pile number 2, as someone who's ambitious, driven. And the flip side of it could be that if you have an idea, you really like that sort of becomes the only goal that you see, and you're not able to expand your vision or your view beyond that. So a change in perspective definitely might help creating this spaciousness, stepping from one phase to the next, and in between these two phases there will be this space of liminality, this transitional space where things you're not really sure about where it's going to turn into next. And I sort of want to end your reading on the affirmation that we have on this wisdom card for you, which is I listen to my wisdom. So, again, that being sort of repeated as the King of Swords, also, I see that you are very wise. You have this deep intelligence within you. It's just that the changes that are happening now might have confused you a little bit. But for the next 3 months, I see so much growth, so much abundance, and so much wisdom seeping into you, you tapping into that wisdom once again. And remember, these were the messages for the collective. So, if you want to know more details about personal readings, then you can check out the description box below. All the details are mentioned there. And make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. That's the easiest way to support me and to let me know that you want to see more readings like this in the future. And I'll see you in the next reading, pile number 2. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose this beautiful mystic card with the butterfly on it, then this is your reading. So, we'll have a quick look at what the next 3 months in your career are going to look like. And I'm going to start off with your tarot cards. And remember that whatever messages come up here, these are for the collective. So, if you want any personal messages or personal reading, you can check out all the details in the description box below. You can email me or send me a DM on Instagram. So, pile number 3, spirit guides, angels, universe. What do we need to know about the next 3 months in the career journey for pile number 3? Starting off with the sun itself and the repetition of that bright imagery on the card, similar to Mystic. I see a lot of hope, a lot of abundance. So, spirit guides, angels. what else do we need to know about the next 3 months in the career trajectory journey of pile number three? Messages for career, pile number three. Okay, we have the sun and the moon both. This I see very powerful energies in this pile. Wow. I think this might be one of the most powerful readings, powerful piles out of this whole reading. So we have four major arcana cards here, and this definitely gives me a very strong sense that you are in a very crucial stage of your career journey. There's a lot of changes happening, a lot of deep spiritual lessons connected with your career path at the moment, and I'll look into these one by one and make sure you stay till the very end to see the deeper meaning of the card that you chose. So with the sun card starting off with such a bright energy, I can see that uh, there is definitely so much brightness, so much abundance, so much growth that's present in your career journey. And the next 3 months are going to be nothing but full of this prosperity, abundance coming into your way. Even though we do have a bit of reflection to do that we'll get into in a bit, but I see that at least for how things are going to be, I don't see any major challenges or blockages. And if there have been some challenges in the past in terms of your career, whether you've been stuck for a while, you're not finding the right path, you're looking for a job, you're looking for a change, or whatever your question might be, I see that the next 3 months will be full of a new hope entering into your life, so many bright energies, your manifestations finally coming to fruition. And all these sunflower cards in sunflower images in the sun card tell me that there's going to be so much hope and abundance in your career for the next 3 months. And I also see that, so there's two messages here with the Six of Pentacles. First of all, if you've been experiencing any financial shortcomings, or if you've been looking for support, so maybe it could be that there's some financial issues at home in the family or something like that, and you've been looking for a promotion, or maybe you've been looking for um, a scholarship of some sort, or an increase in payments, stipend, whatever that is, then I'm definitely seeing this Six of Pentacles as a positive sign that the the increase in pay or this financial need that you've been looking to cover is going to definitely come your way. And if that message doesn't resonate, then maybe for some of you, pile number three, this could mean that you have been in this the sun phase, this abundant energy for a while, you've been receiving a lot. So this might also be time to ground that abundance, that prosperity, by donating. So there's this thing called tithing, where we every month, or however much is feasible for you, so a certain amount, a certain percentage of your monthly income or what you're earning, or to give that to someone who needs, to donate that money, whether it's to charity, or it doesn't even have to be just your money, but investing your time, your energy into some cause that you support, that you believe in. So this could be just a way of giving back. Like, you've been receiving so much, you've been having this abundant journey in your career, and you're maybe asking to step into the next level. And to manifest that stepping into the next level, one thing that might help is to ground yourself, your success at the moment, by also giving back. So maybe for the next 3 months, see what you can do in your own ways to give back, whether that's um giving to charity, maybe even volunteering at some place, or engaging with the community, or whatever that might look like for you. And for some of you, pile number three, if your career directly relates to this, like your actual job involves looking after the needy or the less fortunate ones, then this is a very clear sign that this act of giving back is very closely tied to your purpose, to your calling in your career. And finally, for some of you, you've had this abundant journey so far, and now you're looking for a change. Like, the sun is behind you, it's a brand new day, and now you're looking into what to step into next. So there I see that maybe for some of you, it means that you are now going to step into a role within the next 3 months that involves giving back, working with people, working with someone who's needy, working with someone who can benefit from the resources that you have, the skills that you have, or just your experiences in general. So see in what ways can you give back. So that's a major lesson here, major guidance for the next 3 months. And with the judgment here, I see a very strong sense of you. So there's a couple of messages here. One could be that um, if you are asking what is my calling, my purpose, or if you have a specific career in mind, a specific job, whether that has to do with teaching, healing, working with less fortunate. For some of you, it might be something to do with law, something to do with creativity, something to do with actually working with money, with finances, or whatever this job has been so far. If your question is this my calling, or is this the path that I'm meant to be on, then the judgment card here is coming as a strong sign that yes, you are aligned with your purpose, you are stepping in the right direction. And in the next 3 months, I see this almost giving into your own calling, like there is a path that's destined for you or meant for you, or not to say that there's only one thing that you're meant to do, but there's a big purpose that you're meant to fulfill, and you can reach that purpose in your own ways through your different channels. And I'm seeing that in the next 3 months, this alignment is going to take place. Your career is really going to take off. It's going to give you all, like, here, this is one pile where I see that all your wishes are coming to true. What you've been asking for is finally arriving in your life as a blessing. And just starting off with the sun card gave me this sense that you, pile number 3, are someone who really has the ability to manifest your outcomes, and I see that happening here. But with so much abundance and manifestation coming your way, there is also this message to, when there is growth, when there is success, there's also that aspect to evaluate our success also. So both the moon and the high priestess, like this moon imagery is repeated in both of these cards. Here we have the moon card itself, and in the high priestess we have this moon symbol here. So both of these tell me that after this period of success, there is a need to reflect. So for some of you, it might mean that you've been spending so much in your career journey, you've been getting all your desired results, but is there something that you've missed out on in this journey? Whether that's family, whether that's connections, maybe you've had so much success, but then looking back, you're questioning, did I sacrifice my relationships, my connections to get this level of success? Or maybe for some of you, you've been really building your wealth, but there has been less of an opportunity. It could be for any reason that you haven't been able to give back, or you haven't been able to um, ground the success that has come for you in some way. So now it's just leading to this expectation of wanting more and more and more, without taking a pause to reflect on how this journey has been so far. So there's no major challenge or obstacle that I see here, just a bit of reflection that's required on your end. And this moon card here, it's not about a big upheaval or a major change happening. Rather, it's just a moment of reflection that we need, a little pause that we need to give ourselves. So, for the next 3 months, I see that you're going to bask in the glory, the joy, the abundance of how successful things have been so far. But there have to be some changes you have to give back, and maybe also engage a bit more, whether it's with your connections, with your relationships at the moment, or just with your community around you, or this deeper sense of purpose within you. So there's a bit of connection required for that. But whatever it is that you pursued, you do in the next 3 months, make sure that's aligning with where you're eventually headed, or where you eventually see yourself going. With the moon and the high priestess, again, what I said about reflection, the sense of giving yourself a bit of time to, like, both things. You have to also celebrate your success so far, celebrate what you've built for yourself so far, and also evaluate on why have you accumulated this, or what is the purpose of it, what are you gaining from this. So these deeper questions, and I do understand that some of these questions are, it's a lifelong journey for us. We never come to the truest answers of why we're doing what we're doing, or what is at the deepest root of these answers. But at least for the 3 months specifically, based on whenever you're watching this reading, there is a indication that you're going to enter this period of reflection. So it's okay if there's So it might seem that after this reading, at the end of 3 months, you might look back and say, there's nothing major happened, there's nothing that changed, or there's nothing that shifted. But maybe that shift didn't happen on a physical level, like there's no actual action that took place. Maybe you didn't really change anything in your career, or you didn't step into something new. But on a deeper level, in a spiritual sense, in terms of the evolution of your own soul, your own growth, there might be a lot of changes that could have taken place in just something as simple as what you see your purpose being, or where you eventually see yourself heading, or the maybe you have a very clear vision of where you are up until now, but the journey ahead might look a bit blurry. So, just the shift that happens after this period of reflection could be clarity about where you're headed to next. So, overall, I see this energy as a period where things have started to change, things have started to shift, or maybe there's been so much success so far, and now there's a little bit of a pause. It's not like things aren't happening, things aren't turning, but maybe it might happen on a bit more internal level. Like there's no big external changes, but so much growth happening inside and in depth, in detail. And there is definitely, this reflection is going to bring you closer to, in alignment with what's the purpose. And I'll just pull out a couple more clarification cards for you to see what exactly this period of reflection might look like for you, and any further guidance that spirit wants to give you for the next 3 months in your career. Spirit guides, angels, what other message do you have for pile number 3 for the next 3 months in your career? So you almost have all the celestial bodies here. You have the sun, the moon, and the stars. So there's no doubt that your career journey trajectory in the next 3 months is going to be so full of abundance. It's going to head into the direction you want. I see that, for pile number 3, you don't have any major challenges at the moment, or even if there are things that seem huge obstacles or challenges at the moment, they're just stepping stones into this very successful future that you have in your career. But moving on to the other cards that have come up for your clarification, we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. So, Ace and Two, both of these cards coming together, and then immediately the Star card. So, this tells me that maybe for some of you, there is what I was saying earlier, that there's no real concrete change happening, and at the end of it, you might realize that there's nothing that shifted, but there is something that has changed from within. So, after that 3 month period, based on whatever reflection has happened so far, based on how you've also given back in some ways, how you've tapped into this deeper purpose, and the reflection that has happened so far, I also see it might just give birth to a new idea or something new that you see that can change in your career journey. So something that has been working so far, but a bit of reflection about what can you do differently, what can you add, what can you remove, what can you change, and that clarity is going to happen at the end of the 3 months. And that's when this change enters your life. And being the pentacle card, it's very connected with maybe a new career idea comes up for you, or you turn your career in a new different direction. And because we also have the mystic card here, maybe for some of you this change could have something to do with maybe some form of spirituality, self care, creativity, healing. Some or the other might actually interact with your career journey at the moment. So either you could um, completely shift into something like this, or you might bring in some elements of it into your existing career, or these could become tools for you to manifest your career outcomes. So, for example, if so far you've been working on something and it's given you a lot of abundance growth, and now you want to take it to an even further level, so there, this mystic force, this high priestess energy might help you evolve this into that bigger level. And with the Two of Wands here, I also see this sense of um So two is about, you've taken an action and then you're waiting for the results to come in. So here I see that once this period of reflection has happened, then after the 3 months, you might step into a new chapter of your career, some new beginning of sorts, or you've invested your money into something different, and then you're waiting for the results. And here I don't see any delay in the results at all. Like the star comes as a very clear sign of new hope, new energies, this fresh perspective that comes in. And overall, at the end of the 3 months, you're going to just look back with so much satisfaction after having experienced so much growth and so much abundance. So if there's any challenges at the moment, just hold on for a while. Just stay connected, rooted to the sense of purpose within you. And now I also want to talk about the mystic card that you chose, pile number 3. And I'll just pull out this card again. So this beautiful butterfly energy, it helps me connect to the process of metamorphosis. Like, this is the almost the end stage. Like it started off as a caterpillar, it went through all the difficult journey, the metamorphosis happened, and it turned into this beautiful butterfly that's so bright and glowing. And even your reading starting off with the sun imagery itself makes me feel that at least on some level you do feel very accomplished, you do have a sense of a direction or a path ahead. And I'm seeing that instead of this phase of extreme transition or transformation, it's just a period of reflection on, because even on the other side of it, like we have achieved all the success that we want and we're in this bright energy, coming on the other side of all the struggle, the challenge that might have gone into reaching here. Even on the other side of it, there is still a sense of lingering energies from when you did experience this difficult period. So that's why this moon card here comes as a reminder to give yourself some space, to give permission to just reflect on what went into arriving where you're at right now. What changes went into this entire process? What did you learn from this journey? What do you want to change moving forward? So I don't see any major disturbance, upheaval in your energies in terms of career in the next 3 months. Just this little bit of pause that you need to give yourself. And finally, with the mystic card here, it this card tells us about you know like I see you as the dreamer pile, the seeker, like you know your path forward, or at least some sense of where you're headed, and then you start traveling on that path, you start moving into that journey. And I also see you as someone who has gone through this journey of change, of transformation, and as I was saying, you've come on the other end of it. And now I see this mystic card connecting with the Six of Pentacles here, because you've gone through this journey, you've learned certain lessons, and now you might be giving those back. What I was saying earlier, time to give back. So it could just mean sharing your experiences with others. So maybe if you've had a difficult journey, and I'm just taking an example, like your journey of healing mental health has been difficult. So now the way in which you want to give back is to work in spaces and settings in your career where you can work with people having these mental health challenges. Or maybe one struggle that you had to experience in your own career journey was about some financial lack or not having the resources. So the ways in which you are going to give back is providing these resources to other people. And again, whatever might apply in your specific setting, I'm seeing that you've learned something, this process of metamorphosis turning into this beautiful bright butterfly that has taught you certain lessons. It has given you so many experiences, and now it's time to reflect on it a bit. Maybe some of you might even benefit from journaling, so just writing down what you've learned, what your journey has been so far, whether some of you are poets, writers, or you just like art, or whatever that might be for you. So just reflect a bit on how this journey has been so far. What have you learned from this specific phase in your career so far, and how can you use that to transform other people's lives? That how can you transmute this energy into pouring back into other people? And this, the mystic card, I'm pulling out the guidebook here, but the mystic card, it's also the light worker, the seeker. So it's definitely like this message here, because we have the high priestess, it's going a little beyond just the career or just the job. I'm seeing that maybe pile number three, some of you could be light workers, or you're here in this lifetime, in this journey, to endure certain lessons, certain experiences, to learn something out of it, and then shine brighter in your light, this star that you truly are. Connect to this light within you, and then how can you let this light shine on others too? And that's what I see as a major purpose in your life, or something that you might connect with. So if that's a message that resonates, then just take the next 3 months to see how can you, first of all, let your own light shine brighter, and how can you share that light to others around you, those who might need it. And again, one thing, with the mystic here is also, the mystic is someone who transmutes, or who takes their own negative experiences, difficulties, challenges, and translates that into something beautiful. Or I'm not saying that this means negating all your pain, suppressing the difficulties that you've gone through. Rather, transmute or transform that into something that you can pour back into others in a creative way, in a healing way. So, what I was saying earlier, that you have had a difficult journey or some challenges that you've endured. What have you learned from that? How can you transform that into something beautiful that others can take inspiration from, and then turn their own lives from this darkness into a world that's so bright, and they can also tap into this sun, this star energy within them. And I want to end your reading with some angel cards, so some final messages that angel, spirit, guides, universe, whoever you believe in, whatever messages they might have for you. So any final messages for file number three? So we have the gratitude card. Take a moment if you want to pause, take a screenshot, read the affirmation in your own time. But the overall card here, the gratitude, it talks about, obviously, yes, the cliche of counting your blessings and things like that. And it's, also um, thanking our difficult experiences as well. And again, this is not from a place of um, completely ignoring the difficulty that we had to go through, or minimizing how challenging your own circumstances have been for you. Rather, now that you're out of it, now that you have transformed into this beautiful butterfly, you have stepped into this brightness of the sun. And even if you haven't, but you know that that's right around the horizon, you just, like, it's so reachable, you can almost touch it, and you're out on the other end of it. I can see that for you, pile number three, very strongly. So if you're already there, then a big applause to you, kudos to you for enduring this, for going through that. And if you're still in that darkness, that murkiness of it, then more power to you, because you're almost at the finish line. The sun is just around the horizon, and you're just about to enter that, and the next 3 months are going to be full of so much growth. So with the gratitude card, also reflect a bit on, yes, there have been difficult experiences, there's no minimizing the pain that you had to go through, but at the same time, are there any lessons that this period taught you? And this, even though that's not the archetype card present here, but I'm also connecting with the wounded healer archetype, that the blessing of the wounded healer is their own wound, that just because they've endured that pain, they know how it feels like to go through that, and that's what they use in healing other people. So in your career, in the next 3 months, I see a very strong sense that maybe for a while you've been working just for yourself, or out of obligations, responsibilities, or maybe if it was a path that you wanted to follow, the outcomes of it, the rewards were very centered towards yourself. And now it's time to see what you've gained from it, see even what the challenges have taught you, and using that to share this light with others around you. And I'm seeing so much brightness just around you. So you are this source of light at the center, and then everyone who comes in touch with you also glows, also gets this um, sense of tapping into their own light, this brightness of the star within them. And the gratitude card also says that angel wisdom reminds you to say thank you for all that you have, the intangible as well as the tangible. And just when you are in this, when you cultivate this attitude of gratitude, you're opening yourself to so much love, so much abundance. And I already see that you have this brightness, this hope, this glow, this abundance. And if you just also add in this aspect of gratitude, then you can shine so much brighter. So, just a couple of final messages. In the spirit of reflection, maybe journaling or some creative activity of sort might help you. And if that's something that you already do, maybe just add in this tiny little practice of gratitude, like at the end of the day, writing 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for. And this is not just like, just a self help practice or something that's just um cliche that's just spoken about, but rather there is a lot of actual benefit to the practice of gratitude, the ways in which it impacts our well-being. And that's something you can definitely read more about, learn more about. But I want to end your reading with this affirmation here, that I am grateful for everything in my life. So again, don't minimize the pain, but be grateful for all that you've gained on the other end of it. And again, remember, these were the messages for the collective. So if these resonated, if you want to know more, then you can check out the description box below for all details about booking personal readings. And thank you so much for joining me for this reading, sending you so much blessings for the next 3 months in your career and even beyond that. So make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you want more such videos in the future. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.